On behalf of BioIT World's Global WEM Symposia series and our sponsors, Cloudian and Wekaio, I'd like to welcome you to How to Accelerate Genomics Data Analysis Pipelines by 10x. My name is Jennifer, and I will be your moderator for today's event. And with that, let's begin. I would like to thank you for joining us for today's webinar, How to Accelerate Genomics Data Analysis Pipelines by 10x. We have two great speakers with us today. I'd like to introduce Shailesh Manjrekar, Head of AI and Strategic Alliances with Wekaio. Welcome, Shailesh. Can you please give the audience a little background on Weka?
Thanks, Jen. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks, wherever you are in the world. Thanks for joining us today. I head AI and Strategic Alliances for Weka. We are based here right in Silicon Valley with engineering offices in Israel. Genomics is one of our forefront use cases, and we work with marquee customers, and we'll walk you through as we go along through the presentation.
Perfect. Thank you. I'd also like to introduce John Tour, CMO at Cloudian. John, can you provide a little background on Cloudian for our viewers?
Hello, everyone. This is John Tour. Thank you very much for joining. And Cloudian is an enterprise storage company. We are also based here in Silicon Valley, just north of where Weka is located. And we are in the object storage business. So we are S3 compatible object storage on-prem in your data center. We are the capacity tier that complements the Weka front end, and we look forward to telling you more.
Perfect. Thank you. And with that, I am going to pass it off to Shailesh.
All right. Folks, COVID-19 pandemic has really put life sciences as a discipline on the forefront. I'm sure all of you guys have been aware of it and have been associated with it in one form or the other. In fact, this COVID-19 pandemic was predicted by Bill Gates back in 2015 in one of the TED Talks, and still we were caught by surprise when it really happened. So we decided to take this opportunity to take a step back, understand where life sciences as a discipline has made advancements and where there are still gaps, particularly on the technology side, and how we can help fill those gaps or mitigate those gaps. So as you guys know, life sciences certainly has made advancements multifold. Scientists are now able to understand DNA and RNA variations, research drugs, understand biomarkers, and personalized treatments to a great degree. Having said that, what we are seeing is as you get to the secondary and tertiary analysis, technology is becoming a bottleneck. And that's primarily the topic for today's discussion. So what we'll talk about is give you a little background around life sciences applications, what we encounter. We'll talk about business challenges, particularly associated with the data deluge. We'll talk about what is a solution that we are proposing working with our esteemed partner, Cloudian. So we are essentially, Weka is an next generation all-flash parallel file system and formulates the performance tier for the storage part of the solution. And then Cloudian forms the capacity tier with the object economics and the durability. So we'll talk about the better together story. And then finally, we'll leave you some pointers as to how to reach out to us and so on. So with that, some of the use cases, what we encounter is omics sequencing is certainly on the forefront. It can be for whole genome, exome, or RNA processing, and particularly what we call next generation sequencing is one of the prominent use cases, what we see. The second use case we see is around bioimaging, where we see the likes of light sheet microscope, cryo-EM microscopes, digital pathology, and so on. We also see molecular dynamic applications, like some of the common names are around Amber and Gromax and so on. And then finally, we see clinical diagnostic applications where there's a heavy use of artifacts like PACS and X-ray and CT scans and MRI. And as we go along, we are seeing the advent of machine learning and AI artificial intelligence, and what we tend to call it augmented intelligence, right? Because it's not artificial intelligence on its own. There's always human intervention, there's always human supervision associated with that. So we're seeing advent of those technologies a lot happening in these disciplines, and we'll talk about that as we go along.